Of course, I understand the importance of having a strong waiver support coordinator because after having a patient placed in my home without residential rehabilitation and having a waiver support coordinator tell me he ain't supposed to have it when he totally is supposed to, and she done cost me a year's worth of rehab, I didn't want that to happen again. So they do something like a QSI report where somebody will come to the house and they have this questionnaire that they have to fill out. And basically this entire questionnaire will help describe everything that the patient needs, their current functionality levels across mental, physical, behavioral, medical, what have you. I don't do stuff with the expectation for who I'm doing it for to give it back that same way. That's not how it works. You just do. I give what I can give, and I get what I get. Like, there's a wait list to get on the waiver, and it could take years. So for us to go from September to getting his referral, his eligibility determined, the waiver approved, and his referral to come out between September and April, that is a miracle. So at this point, everything I can manage in terms of like someone coming into the house or who we have to work with, we're going to manage it. We are not going to sit and accept whatever assignment we get from somebody else, because you will get trashed. Like, no one else cares about what you're going to have to deal with or how they affect you. Everybody's going about their business trying to do what they need to do for them. So it is on us to cover our butts, to cross the T's, to dot the I's, and to check everything we have to check, because there are too many moving parts and too many things that overlap and intersect, and too many people doing things poorly that will affect you if you don't try to manage all of it. So we're the nurses, we're the parents, we're the doctor, we're the case manager, because if you cared enough to make sure that things were done right for your patients, you're going to have to do all that. You cannot trust the other parties involved to care as much as you, or to care at all, really. Nope, just come prepared to have a good time. She's supposed to be here at 11.
Who was supposed to be here at 11?
Well, there was a referral that came out yesterday, and he fits our criteria for our home, so we invited his family to come for a tour today. She's coming. Wonderful. See you in a bit.
Tell the story about this lady and how you met and what y'all was doing.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so yesterday, you ain't even left yet. You're supposed to be here at 11. So, the way you get patients for your home, you can do it through networking, working with hospitals and whatnot, but the primary source is referrals through APD. So yesterday a referral came out, and when I read through the referral, it seemed like the client fit and needed the services that we offered. So I called his waiver support coordinator, and she explained to me that he was recently released from the hospital and he just requires more medical attention than before. But it was her first time having a client that needed anything medical, so she wasn't sure of what the process would be like. So I gave her a quick rundown of, when someone needs medical in a home, depending on how much medical intervention. Basically, if the individual needs medical intervention every 2 hours, then that individual usually end up with like 24-hour nursing care. But smaller numbers, then they would reduce it and say, well, this person only needs it, 5 hours a day or 10 hours a day or what have you. But I explained to her that if it's like a feeding tube patient, generally they require medical intervention every 2 hours, and that's automatic 24-hour nursing. And the residential rehabilitation level would be moderate when paired with 24-hour nursing. So she gave my number to the family member for the individual. They called, and we walked her through the services we offered. And then, of course, we offered her an opportunity to come down and visit with us. So she was supposed to be here at 11, but I just resent her the address, so she is on her way. And hopefully, oh, medium pants for sorry, you should have texted me that at the same time. Medium. Okay. And I just feel like if you come in here, this is where you want your family member to be. So I am confident that that is how she will feel. And if that is the case, then we will make plans to go to his home and do an on-site patient assessment tomorrow, so that on Monday we can communicate with the agency whether or not we would want to offer him services. We are hoping that we do want to. And with that, we will go from 2 patients to 4 in a matter of 30 days. Hi. Come on. Hello. Come on in. How you doing? Hi. Hello. You sit, I'll give you a quick tour. This is the house.
Okay.
We're having a birthday party today, so,
right,
you know,
okay.
pardon the caution tape. So tell me a little bit about him. I'll leave you the seat there. He's on APD already,
Yes,
right?
He's been on APD now for 2 years.
So what services do you guys get at home?
None.
What's the point of being on APD?
I mean, I've been told I'm gonna get this, and nothing, so.
And nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
Wow.
So Natasha, she's the 3rd support coordinator. Mm-hmm. And so I told her, I said, we've been waiting since 2022.
Oh, wow. So you got on the waiver 2022, and then you've been waiting for placement?
On the waiver 22? Well, he's been at Primrose since 2017. Mm-hmm.
And he's not there anymore, though.
Oh yeah, he still attends a day program.
Day program, okay.
It's a day program, but they have told me they don't have any place for him to live.
And you need residential placement now. Yep. So what APD does, so you're a waiver support coordinator, and she's new, so she's supposed to submit a referral out for him for
Right.
placement.
They have.
Okay.
That referral has gone out with his first support coordinator, and it ended up where they were sending me to Polk County. I went to Howie in the Hills. I've been all over the place, and I told them, mainly Orlando, because I'm here.
Okay. There are a lot of homes here. I'm not sure why they're sending you out. Does he require nursing services or have a feeding tube or anything?
No, he doesn't have a feeding tube. He is going to have a spinal drain on June 11th.
Okay.
So, and if the purpose for the drain happens, then he would have a shunt
Okay.
brain. Now, if when they do the spinal drain, they don't get the results they want, that shunt will not go.
Okay. And so I would say ask your coordinator, because no one can take someone unless the referral comes out. So if it came out and expired, I would say ask her to send it back out again.
Okay.
Because that's what starts the ball rolling on any process. Specifically, the patients in our home, they have nursing. So all of our staff is nursing here. So then the question is, if he doesn't have nursing, then I know a home with space that is in Winter Park that I can refer you to. Yeah, and I'll call Natasha too for you and give her the other home, because you can, when the referral goes out, like if you've had a chance to look at that home and you like it, then the referral will go out and it'll say parent has chosen this home to place them in, and then you're just doing the paperwork process, and they have availability for immediate move-in.
Wow. All right. That's incredible. So the referral came out, and
I'll set off.
yeah, we're very hopeful that will work out.
Very hopeful.
You said we went from 2 to 4. Can you talk about number 3? That's a big jump. We just didn't even cover where we've been.
We've been talking about him. So there was a lady that reached out back in September. She is a paramedic, and she was transporting an individual that lived in a pediatric group home for disabled individuals. And so when she saw it, she was like, hey, my son is disabled. How do I get him in a home like this? Well, the home that she was picking him up from happened to be from our boy Richard's home. And so he gave her my cell phone number. She called, she told me her story. She hadn't had services since he was 18. He's 29 now. So for 10 years, she's been on her own, funding, caring for, like no nursing, nobody helping her. It's just the family sorting out his care. So I started digging into it. I reached out to APD to get some history on the case and find out why. And it turns out that his case was closed. I'm going to make some assumptions now, right? I believe that when they opened that case and looked at it, they saw that he was eligible way back in 2018, and then nothing else happened. So someone dropped the ball somewhere because there's a lot of paperwork to fill out. Like once eligibility is determined, the whole process should be led by APD, getting the forms filled out, getting their doctor's records and all the things that they need to complete the packet and get approval for a waiver. That didn't happen. I believe that when they looked, they saw that someone dropped the ball somewhere. And so when I started pushing for a crisis placement, they actually started moving on it. Because normally, like, there's a wait list to get on the waiver, and it could take years. So for us to go from September to getting his referral, his eligibility determined, the waiver approved, and his referral to come out between September and April, that is a miracle, which we didn't expect. We just, got into it like, hey, let's see what happens. And, emails weekly to the medical team there, calls to the case manager that was working on it every week, and staying on the mom to make sure she responded to any calls or emails she got. Between all of that, we got it done. So, of course, because we helped, she is choosing to place him with us.
And I think that's a beautiful example of, leading with your heart, just trying to do the right thing. You may not see it in that way, right? But a lot of people are very motivated by the money specifically, and how does this benefit me monetarily in the outset? And they could totally miss an opportunity if they're unwilling to put in the work.
The thing is, you don't know, right? Like, I could have did all this, and she could have decided, hey, I live in Davenport. I want him close to me. I'm going to put him at a home there. And that is what it is. So I don't do stuff with the expectation for who I'm doing it for to give it back that same way. That's not how it works. You just do. I give what I can give, and I get what I get. And that's it. There's no expectation attached to it. Because there shouldn't be.
Awesome. Can you talk about the interview process that the family had to go through with you there supporting them in the waiver support coordinator questionnaire?
Yeah, so they do something like a QSI report where somebody will come to the house and they have this questionnaire that they have to fill out. And basically this entire questionnaire will help describe everything that the patient needs, their current functionality levels across mental, physical, behavioral, medical, what have you. So we were at the home for that because, it's always good to see all the processes that are happening within the agency, but also to help the mom get through it. But what I didn't like about it is that the person comes and they want to do their questionnaire first. And they asking a lot of dumb questions that if they had looked at the patient first, they would have the answer to. But instead, you're asking the parent of a fully bed-bound, feeding tube dependent, nonverbal, failure to thrive individual questions like, is he able to bathe himself? Does he feed himself? Does he walk on his own, or does he use a walker or wheelchair? And with each stupid question, you can see the parent getting more and more agitated, like, really? And having to constantly repeat the same thing. He don't do nothing. He can't do anything. I have to do everything for him. When, if they came, they could start with their patient assessment, and then half of those questions would be self-explanatory, and you do not have to trigger this parent with your dumb questions. So I didn't like that part. Feedback for APD, just kind of reverse that process. Try to be a little more intuitive about things that are going on, because these are sensitive situations for these families that are struggling with caring for individuals with disabilities. And I just felt like if you were more aware or more sensitive or empathetic to this situation, you would approach the process a little differently.
So you mentioned the potential patient number 3, them living in Davenport, which is, 45, 60 minutes away from where we are. And actually they'll have to switch counties. And so can you talk about that process of them getting a waiver support coordinator and like where they are now, where they'll be today when they finally come to us?
So in order for a person to get their services coordinated, they're going to need a waiver support coordinator, which is essentially a case manager to help navigate all that. But they assign the waiver support coordinator based on the current location of the patient. And so the list they gave us was for Polk County. Well, the home that has already been selected that he's moving into is in Orange County. So another gap in process where I'm like, you guys know what home he's going to. Why would you force us to use a support coordinator in Polk County to place him, which will then force us to have to find a new waiver support coordinator in the county that he will now live in once he's moved? So I thought that was dumb. Their solution was, okay, well, I'll just send you a list of people who work in both Orange and Polk County. Well, the Polk County list is like 25 people. The dual list for both counties is maybe 6 people. So now your options are even more limited because of the structure of their process, where they could have sent me the Orange County list, which also has 20 people, so that you're not starting one thing with one person and then having to go through the process of transferring to another. But, I don't work for AP, so I can't tell them what to do.
Okay. You tell me about the experience you had in going through that list and reaching out to these coordinators.
Oh my God. Okay, so of course, I understand the importance of having a strong waiver support coordinator, because after having a patient placed in my home without residential rehabilitation and having a waiver support coordinator tell me he ain't supposed to have it when he totally is supposed to, and she done cost me a year's worth of rehab, I didn't want that to happen again. So I was like, Mom.
Can we put a dollar figure on that year's worth of rehab?
Was 60? No, sure. Gonna make me do math in front of the public. No, I can't do math. That's $89,000 that we did not make because we didn't have the rehab we were supposed to have. There go your number. Okay. I didn't want that to happen again. And so, they give you a random list. You don't know anything about these people. And a parent that is just doing this for the first time, they're just going to pick a name and give it, especially if they got to go to work. They're still taking care of the kids and they got this other stuff to do. And I didn't want a random selection. So I had them send me the list, and I called every waiver support coordinator on there. And it's basic things I'm looking for. How do you answer the phone? Can I communicate with you? Can I understand what you're saying? Do you sound like you know what you're talking about? And baby, half the people on that list, I don't know how they got a job. I don't know how. They didn't. I led with, I'm looking for a waiver support coordinator to refer to a parent. Can you tell me about the clients you serve? And they were like, what? Sheeta?
That was her who just called. She said nobody never gave her a time.
That's not true. She said 11. Me.
Well, she said nobody gave her an appointment time, that she's just about to leave her house and she should get here in 15 minutes.
No problem. She ain't coming in 15 minutes. She coming from DeLand. It's an hour.
Oh, she told me 15.
I texted her at 11 like, yo, you still coming? Anyway, okay. So, what was I saying? Just, they didn't understand that question. So the first one I called, she spent time telling me about how she don't do anything with medical. Yeah, she don't touch G-tube patients. That's not what they do. And I was like, ma'am, I addressed you as a waiver support coordinator. I know what you do. I'm not asking you if you do work on the clients. I'm asking you what clients you work with. What is your current clientele roster? Like, So then I get specific. Do you work with clients that have nursing hours or that have feeding tubes? Yeah, but we don't touch that. We don't do medical, so we're not allowed to touch it. I'm like, I know you don't actually do the physical care and work, but whatever. She was a no immediately. The next person, lead with the same question. I don't understand the question. You don't understand me asking you who your clients are, what types of clients you work with or have. And so that was a mess. And then they don't answer the phone professionally. Like, this your work phone. One lady sounded like she was in the bed when she answered, or just like you ask, hi, is this so-and-so? Who is this? Like, this your work phone. Like, someone's calling you for work. I'm not, who you hiding from on your work phone? But anyways, it was a mess. Maybe of all the calls that I made, 2 coherent people answered. The first one, she had a full caseload, but then she said, you know what, read me the names on your list and I'll tell you what I know about the people. Excellent, wonderful. I wish it could have been her, but her caseload is full. So she gives me a couple names on the list. They don't answer, but I find someone in the same company as one of the people. She can speak, she can communicate. I'm like, cool, you're my number one. You have to give 3 choices. So the 3 people I was able to speak with, 2 people I was able to speak with that could understand the question and answer it, they made it on the list. And then the lady that was specifically referred. Who ends up with it, I don't know. Because once we submit that list, APD will call those coordinators to see if they will take the case. So we're waiting to see who we will get assigned to. But just like, imagine if I had randomly picked the first lady and that's who got assigned this case, and she thought I was asking if she was about to come and put the feeding in the feeding tube. Like no. But a parent may not have time to do that or may not know the questions to ask her. You know what I'm saying? Just like, so at this point, everything I can manage in terms of like someone coming into the house or who we have to work with, we're going to manage it. We are not going to sit and accept whatever assignment we get from somebody else, because you will get trashed. Like, no one else cares about what you're going to have to deal with or how they affect you. Everybody's going about their business trying to do what they need to do for them. So it is on us to cover our butts, to cross the T's, to dot the I's, and to check everything we have to check, because there are too many moving parts and too many things that overlap and intersect, and too many people doing things poorly that will affect you if you don't try to manage all of it. So we're the nurses, we're the parents, we the doctor, we the case manager, because if you cared enough to make sure that things were done right for your patients, you're going to have to do all that. You cannot trust the other parties involved to care as much as you, or to care at all, really.
It sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. It's a bad idea. Just don't do this. Don't do it. Save yourself now. It's too late for me.
What are we getting ready for today?
Oh, it's a party. So a patient here is turning, what is he turning, 26 or 27? So we have birthday parties for the patients because the point of residential nursing and residential habilitation is to provide the client with a home style environment and experience, because they rather that than a facility. So we have birthday parties, and we're going to have one today. Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. He likes your singing. Look at him looking at you.
Next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months moving forward?
I don't know. Nobody knows. There's no crystal ball. I'ma hope we get these 2 patients in here. I'ma hope we can pay off the debt that we got, and I'ma hope we can save some money, maintain our staff, and add some more nurses. But I do not know what's going to happen.
Of course not. You don't have a crystal ball, but spitballing, planning, you are very strategic, and I know you have an idea, a vision for where we're going.
Sure. Okay. Our debt should be repaid within 2 months of having a 24-hour nursing client here. And then we need savings. So I would like to spend the rest of the year saving all profits so that we can start 2025 profitable and with savings in the bank. I'm also adding an additional nurse at night, full-time, and at least 1 PRN person to fill in open days. And I need to add a PRN person for day shift so that we are fully staffed and have a few extra bodies so that someone can drop in if anybody calls out.